A lot of survivors of abuse in institutional settings experience what is called institutional betrayal. When they report their abuse, the response that they receive is not one of belief, it's not one of response, it's one of betrayal. And unfortunately, that is often what happens when survivors of abuse in the church. They often experience some form of betrayal. And we talk to survivors who experience this kind of betrayal. Opposite of institutional betrayal is institutional courage. And that's something that we believe as Sisters of the Little Way, that every institution within the church, within the institution of the church, has the capacity to live from institutional courage. Now, what does that require? That requires listening to survivors. That requires believing in survivors. Of course, that means there needs to be due process at the same time. Responding to a survivor with belief, with support, with protection, protecting that person from further abuse, protecting other people from further abuse. What does that involve? What happens when an institution has courage when they respond to abuse? Well, they are transparent about it, not just within the institution itself, but outside of that institution. They are transparent. They take accountability for the fact that that happened within their institution. They don't scapegoat the victim, but they also don't scapegoat the perpetrator. They don't say, oh, this is all this person's fault. Somehow he got in. They take a look at how this person operated within their institution, and they look at the ways that they can change the culture of their institution to be more aware of this abuse. So institutional courage is something that sadly often does not happen. But that is something that we believe as Sisters of the Little Way, that God's grace gives us the grace to do, to have courage in response to these situations. Now, that courage obviously isn't easy. Sometimes it's going to cost you everything. Sometimes it'll cost you your institution's reputation. Sometimes it'll cost you a lot of money. Sometimes it will cost you your job. But those things are worth it. It is worth it to risk all of those things to do what is right.